back again for the second episode of Grieve. I think the first episode we had Faith. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. How are you?
Well, thank you. And then today we're joined by Teshiselo Dlamini. I think the first episode, she was behind the scenes. So today she'll be joining us on set, on camera. I think. Hi, Tesh.
Hello, hi.
You fine?
Yeah, I'm good.
I'm good. Faith, how have you been since the last time we linked?
I've been I've been good. I've been okay.
You know, response maybe you received from, maybe if you saw any from what had happened?
Mm-mm.
No. All right, that's perfect. So I think with this one, just gonna further discuss and just maybe break down just some points we shared for the episode. So with Dash, I think Dash, you had shared on the previous podcast, the first episode, I think a message that Faith had read. So I think maybe if you want to share also maybe your take, not your take, message, your experience. Is that the word? Experience, yeah.
My point of view.
Yeah, your point of view. I think with the message that you had shared with Faith, maybe if you could just break it down, it should also go forth with that.
So Dash sent me a message on the 14th of February. That's the day Dad passed away. She sent me a verse, John 16 verse 22, which I didn't read. I'm sorry to say.
Yeah, but John 16 verse 22.
Yeah. So then she was like, this is a very difficult time and I understand completely. I honestly don't even know what to say, but I know that the pain I feel is nothing compared to how you feel. I'm so sorry for your lost Faith. I'm really sorry that I couldn't even be there before now. I'm truly sorry for what you and your family are going through, but God sees and He knows. I pray that the Lord keeps you strong and that He renews your strength at this difficult time. I pray that He caters for all your needs and He continues to not leave you nor forsake you. I love you and I'll keep you and your family in my prayers. My deepest condolences. And she ended with the verse again, Revelations 21 verse 4.
I'm just gonna share from the congregation point of view and also, as a friend and all of that. How do I start? Okay, so with the death of Pastor Mukunda, it was, it hit us hard and it was unexpected. And I think there's a lot of things that it started feeling like a can of worms have been opened, and also there's things that we are starting to it started feeling like we were left alone, we're completely alone, how when you lose a parent and then you start feeling oh gosh, we're alone, who's gonna do this for us, who's gonna take care of us, are we even gonna be able to do this and that, are we even going to be able to move on? So it started feeling like that, and at church and all of that.
Okay, just so maybe let's take, when you found out about the death, maybe when Faith had where were you, how were you, maybe you're oh, I'm gonna see this is small, where were you being you, how do you react, and then how did that further also impact you going forth?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I don't remember what I was doing exactly, but I was at home, and I think. Okay, so when I was I'm not sure what I had just finished doing. I don't know if I just finished making food or taking a bath between the two. So when I was about to sit down and log into WhatsApp and all of that, I saw a text that said, this is a notification that the pastor has left. So, but I saw it go notification bar. So I was like, oh, okay, no, let me click on it and just read it properly. And then I read it. And when I was reading it, I was like, no ways. No, no.
Yeah.
There's no way. Like, we're talking about someone that we were sure is coming back the next Sunday. So there's just no. So, the first few seconds, minutes, it's like, I think what goes through your mind is, what went through my mind was, no, maybe there was a mistake. Maybe they're going to text and be like, oh, sorry, like, there was a mistake. We thought,
Yes.
that's how it felt like. It was like, oh, no, like,
So in your reaction, then I think, then the message then went to Faith. I think maybe like, okay, maybe it might be actually true. Maybe like text Faith, then you had said.
And I'm not even sure if I texted her the same day or I texted her the next day. I don't remember, but I remember when I received the text, I was like, no, it can't be true. And then when I started thinking about it, and when you start thinking, it's been a while since I've seen him. I was so excited to see him again, and I started crying and all of that. So I don't know if I texted her the same day or I texted the next day. I'm not sure, but I know it was soon. Like, it was, I think it was the next day. Probably in the morning, afternoon, when we're still trying to, process the whole thing. And when you wake up, it's like, maybe you're hoping that you're going to get a text that says, no, there was a mistake, no, actually, it wasn't that bad. I don't know, but like, you are hoping, there's that hope, it was no, it's a mistake.
No, thank you for that. So I think with this one, I just want to break down, like, as him being your father and him being your pastor. Would you say there was a difference in maybe the way the reaction as compared? Would you say maybe there was a father pastor elements both, or like my father's gone? And on your side,
it was both.
Okay.
I lost the father and a pastor, because he was a father on a personal level, and then he was also my pastor because he was my leader. And growing up in the church and serving in ministries, and there's a leadership, so we took instructions and we were submissive and a leadership pack. And also he was my father and a pastor also at home, because he would share to us about like the gospel, and he would always tell you the truth. And one thing I liked about him is how he emphasized, he wants us to have an individual relationship with Christ.
of course, yeah.
You're just doing it because this, and then now you're doing it because you have to. So he never forced Christianity on us. He never has. I think he's never done it even to other people. He will just tell you the gospel truth. And also through acts of kindness and love and care. That's the one, I think. Then you would say, what manner of man is this? I would like to see the God he worships or the God he serves. That's how he drew people. He would never go, hey, repent for the Lord is coming. He will draw you in with the love and the care. The things that they say, you get what I'm saying? Just constantly all those things. It makes you say, I would say someone once told me, we saw God in your dad. You get what I'm saying? Not to say he was God personified, but you looking at a personality, and it reminds you of, let's say, what would Jesus do? He was a humble person. He loved everyone. He was that. And then why wouldn't you want to? So for me, it was both cases. And looking at it now, I appreciate the fact that we were not forced to be Christians. It was a personal relationship, because it's what? Today marks 7 months. Washona on the 14th. So today's the 14th. It's 7 months. But I'm not saying it's easy. I'm saying I take me back as I used to be. But because even after his dismissal, I still know, I have to pray, I have to do this. I'm doing it willingly. No one is forcing me to go to church, serve, listen to music, read the Bible, pray. Actually, I find comfort in listening to gospel music. I find comfort in doing those things now because I chose it for myself. So I lost both. I could say I lost both at the same time.
Just a quick one before I get to you, Tesh. What lately would you say maybe has been in your playlist that's like you see maybe if you listen to something, you just get comfort, or just feel like you just get like you just the warm, but you're warm, yes. Maybe just 2 or 3 songs. Maybe someone just music that you listen in the song. I found this message that if I say
there's the song by Toli, I think Ubuhle Baba.
Okay.
When I listened to that song, I just felt beauty in ashes kind of thing. Mm-hmm. It never made sense why I would listen to a song that says still adores and worships him, like even the stars in the moon, they still bow down and say how beautiful you are, the work of your hands are, yet I'm going through something that is nasty.
Yeah.
But I think it just made me feel like regardless, God is a good God. Like I can always listen to it from, I don't know, it just, we have it like in Gutsi Angin to me, Senje. Gratitude. I don't know why, but I should be grateful. I should acknowledge that despite everything I'm going through, at the end of the day, He is still God. And He is good. He's a God who does wonders. It doesn't make sense, I know, but it just lives rent free in my head. Just plays. So I'm sure that one day I will understand. Maybe to me it's like, praise me in everything you're going through.
The good and the bad.
Like, tell me how good I am of God too.
Yeah. Tesh, I think also, how would you say maybe was the pastor father different, or maybe was the one part factor?
Okay, for me, he played that role, that fatherly, role in my life, especially because when I first got to International Tabernacle, I was a fresh Christian, like I was still a baby believer, like I had just been saved. So when the Lord led me there, He knew what He was doing, because I needed Pastor Mukunda, and I think I realized after his death that God truly doesn't make mistakes. And it's with his death, it's like He also made me understand that this was a man that really loved Jesus. Like he really loved, following the word of God and following Christ. And it was so natural. He wouldn't force it, and I think he was like an extension of the love of Jesus here on earth, even in church. He was a leader for real, and he was a father. Like he was a pastor, yes, but he was a father to everyone, and everyone felt that, knowing him from point of view, from as a congregant and all of that. It's like he really did play that role. And for me, even personally, he played that role. He taught me how to love, fatherly love, him being a spiritual father, those spiritual needs he would cater for through, the things he would do, through his sermons and all of that. It was like, God used him. He would use him. And that's why I say I cannot say that the pain that we felt or the pain that I felt, can be compared to his family, because if we feel like that, imagine the family, So it's like, yeah.
No, thank you.
I'm just reminded that I'm thinking that I remember back in high school when he'd come to assembly. and treat her like Tuesdays
Wait,
and
what
Wednesdays.
happened? What
You know, so
happened?
like we attended the same high school,
Uh-huh.
and like I think it was when did we used to have pastors? Tuesday, Wednesday, one of
It was
those days.
Wednesdays.
Wednesdays.
Yeah.
So they used to like bring in him like a lot
Okay.
to St. Mark's. And by then he was still fresh. Even
I'm like, Faith, there's your dad.
It wasn't even that's your dad. It was like this girl's wanting my dad. he was always, you know, smart as well. And imagine then he was still young, so he was always looking handsome. And then
He was fresh.
bro, like even when he was calling the altar call, mostly it was girls going up there because it was mom.
Lord Jesus.
So I'm just hearing this talk
Oh,
about
God,
this thing.
Jesus.
I'm like, yeah, but that's where Kashan and I went back. He was so uncomfortable. Like sometimes when I'm in the toilet, there's this girls, I don't know if you remember this group from 5 the other
I
one.
will
Yeah,
make the
yeah,
names.
I
Bro.
remember.
Oh,
When
yeah.
I was in the toilet, there was one time I was in the toilet, I think he came on a Wednesday, and then after that, I
You
think
want
I
to
went
use
to
the toilet or
say,
you're hiding in the toilet?
no, after everything
okay,
happened,
okay.
I went to say bye to him.
Okay.
Yes, and then he left. And then I went to the toilet, and then I found Melenche, and they were like, I was fucking playing so fresh. And I'm like, this
Imagine.
girls. I was like, oh, when stepmother, I'm like, so yeah.
Have no shame. Have no
Yeah.
shame. Having those trigger effects, let's say you play that song or certain date or certain movement, or you see a certain car, you see certain something you used to do. Do you have those things, and how maybe do you react to those? Also on your end, let's say you used to see things like he used to like whatever he used to like in his actions, like, oh, you know, something particular of that type thing. Me from your side.
Okay, from my side.
Yeah.
Okay, what Kala is, you see, generally, the town I live in is just not real to me, Britain. So, sorry about that. So, yes,
Okay.
so I'm mostly indoors. The only time I step out is if I have to meet up with guys or practice. But I'm just indoors because there's actually certain parts where I just don't even go there. Like when it comes to paying bills, like water, Wi-Fi, because I was mostly with my dad, so I used to do that a lot. I don't step into those places. I don't step SPTC. I try to avoid the whole Riverstone building. I don't go there. Just Manzini. I'm just happy at the side of. I'm happy at the side we live now. We live in Wana Park. It's just away from everyone. That's okay. So it's that. And also I think we shifted from houses. We moved to that side. For those reasons also. It's a lot, Mugelani. It's a lot.
Yeah.
I think 2 months back I was like, because before everything happened, my dad was teaching me how to drive. So I think it's 2 months back. I was resuming low child. And then this guy was like, okay, so she says something what baby, bro. The moment I just sat on his seat, I sweated like I even started shaking. I was like, I can't do this. I'm off. Let's go back to the house. It's that the 14th on its own is a trigger. But I guess I've kind of, this sounds wrong. I guess I've kind of mastered how to hide your pain to the world. Reality is there's no day which feels better. Every single day to me feels like the day we were told that dad has passed away and the day we went to see him.
Yeah.
There's no day which is better. The only thing that gets better is deceiving yourself and say, he's not in the house. But now, you can feel that. You get. There's never a day which is better, honestly. It's just the same. It gets worse even. It really gets worse. Sometimes when I see you just going to some shallow ditch, you just go down. Like sometimes the bitterness. It doesn't. Maybe it will. Maybe after a year or two. But as of yet, there's just so much. Even coming to church, back to church on its own, it took a lot, you know. But I did it not, again, I did it because going back to IT Maban, I felt like it's the only place where I have genuinely good memories of my dad. And I feel his presence there. And I know how much he loved church. I know how much he loved his people. I know how much he loved us even. Like every time we sing so good, I'm like, if Pastor Dixon was here, guys. You know he was a high, as a high no, but no, it's like they have, you know. So I think church just gives me comfort because it's got good memories of him. It's a place I know he loved. My dad be actually no matter saying guys, you went to something about and when it's like a detour what's the order? You first show your detour, we send me a bag of water, I get the office, buga, that's a money. I but just what's to the angry, you know, so same Mabani when the corner is on vein. So yeah. It's hard. I'm hoping that maybe next year I'll be better. Maybe I'll feel better. It's just hard on my end. Yeah.
Thank you. Tish, anything, maybe a trigger effect and like anything that you may see that maybe might mind you of anything that's just like, you know, Pastor Dixon.
I could say that the first few weeks, when like, you know, I just heard that he, you know, passed and all of that, it was hard to stand on that stage and sing because of where he would sit. And exactly, and it's like, you know, he's not there because he's not coming back, because it's not that he missed church.
Yeah,
it's the fact that he's gone, you know. And for me, like, you know, it toyed with me for like a few weeks, months, until I, you know, got the strength to just not look at that, you know. And it would be worse when Pastor Absalom would walk in and sit right there, and I'd be like, yo,
not a word.
Exactly. Like, it feels like just like that. Exactly. So it was like, yeah, for me that was really hard. And I think it's God that gave me the strength to continue to stand there and, you know, not cry or like, you know, forget what's way down lapa, you know. The man that you had brought me to, Lord. I know that we don't worship pastors, but it felt like it's just still a sofa, so what's the point? Like, where am I going? Who's going to help me grow now, you know? And I just felt like, nah, I don't even, because you see, the funny thing with, I don't know if it's funny, but it's not funny, haha, but like, the funny thing about being Christian is that there are points, I mean, there's a time in your life where you feel like you want to give up, but then you can't give up and like go back. And for me, it was like, I can't like give up and go back. But then going back to church, church, but you know, finding another church also would have been another hassle. So I would say it really did mess with me.
But I think being a faith friend, and having that faith, yes, of being supportive. How were you there for her? I think, like, maybe how would you maybe even like see that maybe fit her? Maybe you should call her now. Maybe you should like give her that time. Like, how will you feel like it was the perfect time for you to like even check up on maybe how?
You know, honestly speaking, I don't know. And I'm being honest when I say I don't know how I was there for her, because I still feel like I didn't do enough, you know? And especially from a time when, you know, Pastor Dixon was sick, I kept, you know, postponing and procrastinating, and all of that. So I was like, you know, I'm gonna make time and all of that. And it got to a point where, then we received the news where, you would see he's gone and all of that. So I think when we had finally got the news and I was also dealing with it, the texting was because I understood, and also it was like, I wish I could do more, but also I don't want to overwhelm, and like, honestly, guys, what do you do in a situation like that? Like, what do you do in a situation where a person has lost someone? And it's like, how do you see that you're doing too much? How do you see that you're not doing much? Like, I was just in that state. You would see, like, I don't even know, because I can't even call you and be like, are you okay? Because I know that, like, other people are also doing the same thing. So it's like, so I was like, what? It's best I just send the text. At least, even if she can't speak, she can at least read it. Even if she doesn't understand it now, she can, like, go back and read the text. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And I would also pray for them. Okay. So, and, there was a point in time where I had a dream. Like, God was showing me, I think it was God showing me that, like, I should check up on them and that I should keep them in my prayers and all of that. In the dream, I was supposed to, so it was like my mom was going out. Yeah. And
wait, sorry, hold up. Let's answer this. You're live on the podcast. Hello? Amazing. Hallelujah. Yeah, sorry, Tesh, about that. You can continue.
Yeah, so in the dream, my mom was going out, right? So I couldn't leave with them. Yeah. So I had to stay behind. And I was just telling my mom, she was telling me she's going somewhere. Okay, I was like, cool. Please pass by Faith's house and check up on Faith and her mom. And then please, because Faith had a business, she had already started the business, the cinnamon rolls business.
Yeah. Do we have any today?
Oh, girl. Sorry, girl. So I was like, please also make sure you support. Like, please come back with, like, cinnamon rolls. Yeah. So, and then my mom was like, okay, no problem. And then I woke up. So I think that was God saying, check up on them. Keep them in your prayers and all that. They need you. You're going to go difficult times and all of that. So I'm just saying that, like,
is your phone ringing as well? Okay, I think we can. You're on the podcast. Hello. Yes, sir.
Yeah, so that was God, saying that I should check up on them and to just keep praying and all of that. So I'm just saying that, like, even with times like these, even when you don't know what to do, even, like, God is still there to guide you and to show you what you should do. That is why I'm saying I don't think I did enough. And I still don't think that I did enough, because it's like, you don't know, like, maybe she would tell me, I don't know, but, like, I'm just saying that, like, for me, the best way to just, to comfort someone is to obviously just pray for them and just, give them words of encouragement.
I understand. All right, so I think off camera, I think we had a discussion about the people who are around you and how exactly feel to, I feel like Faith is probably bothered about something. We see that maybe now this happened, I feel bothered. Don't feel like, but Faith is my friend. I know, like, she knows that I'll call her. Like, will you say that came to play, or were you expecting that? I don't know. We say that,
What I was just trying to say is we should check up on each other. Yeah. Because a lot is happening around us and stuff, When you move and stuff, and it's not that way. I made an example, could say you can be in a relationship with someone. Yes, you will talk about everything, but there are certain things you will not be able to, not because you're not open enough. When you're in a relationship with someone, again, if I'm say I'm feeling too much, because I'm what, so sometimes you hold these emotions in and you really can't express because you don't want to be a burden to this person. You don't want to emotionally drain them, or you don't want to push them away, because it's already a lot that this person is with you, and the emotions are all.
I think the last 2 days were 2-3 days were the worst. Like I just didn't feel like talking. Like I was just off. I didn't feel like talking. I felt irritated. I felt, but I was just hanging in there. But when I would say, so and so it's been affected. We are going for a show. So, would say, maybe if I spoke to my friend about this, and sometimes it's also hard to pick up the call and like, I'm going through this, because I'm one person, we are like, even if you like ask my partner and stuff, like, even 2 weeks later, what I felt like 2 weeks back. Because I feel like, I have this energy in me, I'm strong, I'm bold. Like, I don't want anyone to see me at my weakest. You get what I'm saying? I'm so good at making you, when I'm motivated, and even if the right words and the right scripture, I'm dying inside. And I just need someone to say those things to me. Most of the time, some of the things that I post on my status, and people get touched and motivated, like, I wanted to hear that. That's stuff that I wish I could hear. I convince myself, this is what I want to hear. So what I do is when I post something, then I'll be watching it again. I'm watching someone sending it to me. You get what I'm saying? So it makes me feel better about myself. So when I was like, I really miss my friends calling and stuff like that. Because I really don't blame you guys too, because when I was going through everything, I pushed everyone away. Really, like, because it was just a lot.
It was a lot, yeah.
And just, as much as people want to be there for you, you just like, I just don't want people. Like, guys, do you guys get the fact that, can I just have a minute alone? So, that call does help, because sometimes when I think I like looking myself up a lot when I'm in the house, just staying in the room. Because I would say maybe I'm at the peak of doing something stupid, but when Dash calls is sleggy. I'm always down sleggy, 2 minutes, hey, friend. Or when we're gonna call, I'm not saying call every day, but like just check up, come on, because you might think, no, she's in a good place. I'm not saying I'm not in a good place. I'm very good. I'm happy where I am and stuff. Everything's okay. But also you need the friends there for you. You need them there. Be free and open. I've been feeling this way, but I'll share. Because you get what I'm saying? Because you feel like it's too much emotional baggage you're coming with, and this is not what it's supposed to be. You get what I'm saying? Because normal I say, I want to be there for you 100%. I say, okay, then when do I get to be there for you? Because also the other part is going through stuff, and also you wouldn't want to be too emotionally like damaged. So and also just generally, I'm sure it's also important being also as friends. Sometimes just to get a call, so something which you'd want to talk about. Sometimes it's not even about that. Maybe I want to get an advice. Maybe I should say advice. There's a friend who's faced with the situation. Advice, because we need each other, guys. We really do need each other. As much as we really distance ourselves and we just want to deal with things on our own, we still need each other. It's important to have each other, guys.
Thank you for that one. I think also a part of having Tesha as well, I think, what I learned with you, the grief and all that, like, there's some things that didn't come out. I think you shared that, say maybe there's the physical response, there's the emotional response, there's the more intellectual response, and let's say how sadly maybe our full moon, you're confused, you just don't understand, like you don't want anything. Would you maybe say that you had experienced any of that, or see maybe like faith in you just being around husbands like that?
Me personally, I have also,
Yeah.
And with faith, I have seen it.
Yeah.
As much as I haven't seen it to like, deeper extent, but like I have seen the difference. And her trying to be okay, but you can tell that she's not okay. And you respect that, but even in that moment you're like, I wish I could do more, but like you don't know what to do, And also with me, like the depression, like the being depressed, like when you process the information and all that, I think I can say that I understand how it, like the different stages. Like when I said, there's a point in time I just felt like I don't want to go back to church because what's the point, That I can relate. And with her, I've seen, some days where she just feels like, nah, this is too much for me. No, this is overwhelming. Nah, I can't even be present today because, 1, 2, 3. So I have seen it. And yeah. It's not easy to watch.
Yeah, no, thank you. Because I want to come back to faith again. You mentioned about being negligent in the church, right? So like, I think you also have maybe that you don't call me, like I'll come and find like that type of thing. Like, were you able, or are you able now to maybe like combat these things? Maybe that maybe she's seen, maybe that you maybe even going through. If you can maybe share some things that you're also fighting through now. Maybe physical, emotional, anything.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like Tesh was saying.
Yeah.
I think the hardest one was coming back to church. Not when I'm saying coming back to church, I'm not being good. Being very I just gone now. No, it is just the environment, the presence.
Yeah.
Would see at this time doing I remember the first coping mechanism would be like, let me take it like they have gone again on a trip to Tanzania with the church project. It's probably gonna come back. It's just 2 weeks. It's probably gonna come back. It's another week. It's been extended. That's how I was able to cope through the first month and second month. And then reality quickly like, bro, he's not coming back. He's gone, Because then the reality is, if he's in Tanzania, he would call at least. Why am I not getting a call? You get what I'm saying? If it's in Tanzania, he's still reminding us the call to prayer. Why aren't we getting those messages? And I think it also became worse when now you're looking at things happening around you. There's no people notifying you about this and that and that and that. And also the atmosphere around you. So going back to church was the hardest. But then I kept on going to church. I kept on going. Eventually I told myself that let me not allow fear stop me from coming to this place, but rather let me use it as a place that will remind me of the great memories he had, because this is the place he loved the most. There are things that are challenges, but Teshiselo, like towards this period, like towards leading to this point, it's just a lot. Plenary appetite, still struggle with all those things,
Right.
Like struggle with Sundays, how Sundays, it's Sunday after church, you go, we drive, we have family lunch, all those things. Like it's just too quiet in the house. You can feel that there's a big gap there near corner. Sometimes when you're faced with challenges, God always had a solution for everything, If that was here, this would have been sorted out already. Not to say that mom is not helpful. She's very helpful, but which is on her plate and on her shoulder. For me to be selfish enough and act like I can't see, you get what I'm saying? It's just too much for one person. And I think the hardest thing that cripples me is the fact that I'm struggling to get a job. And now I ask myself, after all the sweat and energy my parents went through to get me to get a degree, I can't get a job. What is the most worst time for me not to be employed than this period of time we're going through? Uthandaza ukuthi uNkulunkulu manje ungiphelele lo msebenzi ndokhona ukulamulela manje, because it's a lot, There's never been a time where I felt so helpless like the current position that I'm faced in. There's nothing that cripples me between Wednesday and Saturday when mom goes out to work, because she works from Wednesday and Saturday, knowing that she's leaving me, full grown adult, in the house sleeping, and she's going to Sogola day, or just not because I'm sleeping, because I don't want to do. I'm on the net, I'm applying, I'm doing this. It hurts. angikhoni kwenta something. Hence, I had pushed myself and challenged myself that let me try baking and see how it goes. Now, logo business is it's up and down, it's a roller coaster. But sekuningi yabo izindawo khona kusitamange kuloku at least bengikhona kwena nawo yabo at least so it's just it's just a lot.
How would you say it impacted people around you close to your loved one, and how did it affect you, and how are you even able to try be as you mentioned prior? And
I don't know. Bad question. To be honest, I think the only people that I'll start by close base, my siblings and mom. I think mostly mom. It was touching, seeing her. It was a lot, but I think what gives me hope and courage that I too can make it out of this dark place is seeing the strong woman she's become today, because I think it hurts a lot for us losing our father, but I think it hurts worse for her losing a partner, because it's before and even 30 years of being married, almost like your whole life with this person, and you think that they had a more stronger bond. You get what I'm saying? So now there's, I'm sure it's like, because I think Bible says the two become one. Now imagine one being robbed of your other part. It's like a part of you has been ripped off completely.
Yeah.
So to see her being this strong, it gives me hope. I can't touch base much in my siblings' life because, like I said, we are all just close books. We don't, when we talk, it's just touch base 2 seconds, but not. I think we're all afraid of hurting each other, or we are all still hurting, so we can't really have that. I think it hasn't got to a point where we can just sit and just talk about it, like, so this happened, So everyone is a closed book and we are all different. You get what I'm saying? We all find it hard to express ourselves. So it's affected them a lot, but I can't say much. I can't talk about mom. But also, close people around us have been affected. But all I can say in a nutshell, for close people, I mean the congregation, family, friends, and everyone, just seeing people being able to be strong and push, it gives me hope that maybe one day I'll just do it too.
So I was reading, I think upon research, that there's a difference between grieving and mourning, right? So I think understanding grieving did say, it's something that one cannot fix, right? And then mourning, it's something that happens for a long time and then it's puma for and things like that. So what would you say, yes, for you, maybe do you have that, and maybe what has maybe come?
Well, with Kala, I think maybe the way I define them is different. For me, I feel like grieving is that permanent feeling that you will have forever.
Yeah.
Like it's that feeling that reminds you of your loved one. Like, you know how instead of you being Latin, you say I'm in love, but then now this is just a term you would say, constant reminder of this person, and I feel like you grieve forever. You don't stop grieving. But mourning, for me, it's like, I think it's a time frame or like periods of stages, rather than stages of the grieving. Grieving is the emotion, and then now the mourning are the time frames, like you say. So when you just receive the loss of your loved one, we are divided, the stages of grieving, we are divided, we are isolated. That is the first stage. Then I think as you mourn them, I'd use the example of a widow. I think it's best to use a widow and widower. During the mourning period, there's maybe, depends on the culture, but there's 6 months of color, black. that's the mourning period. It's a time frame.
Yeah.
Lapho you are showing your respect. You have set aside a period of time for this person. Would say it's after 6 months, so that was the mourning period. But with grieving, you will always grieve your loved one. So I think for me, every time you are saying I'm counting down to 7 months, 8 months, it's my mourning period.
Mm-hmm.
And it will be up to me how far I want it to continue.
Yeah.
But the grieving is an everyday emotion I will wake up with. There's a guy who once spoke who would say, when you're grieving, it's like you are carrying a heavy stone with you with so much weight. And as time goes on, it's not like you throw the stone away, but you get used to the weight and it becomes lighter.
Okay.
Not because it's all you are used to it now. So it fell and the thing, it's now part of you.
Yeah.
It gets lighter and lighter and lighter as time goes on, but you still have the memories of the person. So I would say the lightness is maybe so with denial. So acceptance, so with depression, but the reality is you'll always have that stone. The weight just becomes lighter and we are progressing from stage A to stage B, but never memories will always live. So for me, I just feel that's how I take it, and that's how everything is happening to me. I don't know where I am, but I know I have accepted the loss, I think it's good for your own mental health, because the more you question, the more you lose yourself. So I'm sure I've accepted. Now I think I'm learning how to live. Would say
also trying to steal away the spotlight from the conversation also, so maybe I'll just share a part of my part of grief. I think I lost my grandmother 4 years ago, 2020, and that was a crazy one. I think also I had it was tough. I think what you spoke about, having gonna outbreak weirdly, you just don't, because you don't understand what's going on. Mine of the same time when the death happened, mom came back in the house because she went to the house to go see my grandmother, right? And then it was she was just there was no tears, it was she's okay type thing. And she's let's go and pray. Go and pray, okay, on a Sunday, another Sunday. And then the first thing she says, grandmother's passed away. That's the first thing she says, that's prayer. Cry. I think I didn't sleep that night. The whole week, I'm not fine actually. Mom kept coming the whole night, every time, But these things, my mom says, these things that take shy after. Sometimes they don't hit you then.
Reality kicks in when you're...
Yeah, reality hits in so weird for not so concerned, because we're here now. You won't be here here's faith, here's station, or when when you're alone, that's more heartbreaking, for this thing.
When you think of the fact that God still gives you the opportunity to live, and it's there's some people that we don't appreciate enough, even with dying. Imagine tomorrow you're dead, imagine tomorrow your time has come. What have you done? What life have you lived? What impact? What have you done to impact people's lives? Have you lived a life that Jesus had called you to live? Have you followed, his word and all of that? Just like Pastor Dixon, I think that's one thing that I could share and say, that's one thing that that keeps me going. That one day I know that I will leave and go home. But for now, let me just continue trusting him, even when it means that, one day I'm going to lose my parents also. I'm going to lose my siblings and all of that. If this is how I feel about him, then, and I'm able to deal with it,